Yeah, go ahead. Jenny, you're hosting.
Hello and welcome once again to Boom 11. And a little bit of confusion, I suppose, with regards to who's going to host, just like Sunrisers Hyderabad, as regards to who's going to be catching the ball. But I have with me Sandipani, a little disappointed, and Abel as well. Sandipani, I'll begin with you. You would have to be proud today, right, as a KKR fan, because the boys did fight well. They were three down in the power play. You would say from there, it really looked like things are going to go down the drain. But Nitish Rana leading from the front, I genuinely think there's something about this KKR unit this year. We spoke about it, how Chandrakant Pandit could be the one to uplift them from that underdog status and really push them up. And that's what he's doing, isn't it? And him and Nitish Rana are really combining together well.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been really, really proud if my standards would have been as high as RCB's. But I mean, we don't win hearts; we win
But we
matches.
don't
So
understand why does he have to bring RCB for no reason. This is not even RCB game. This is so irrelevant.
I mean, jokes aside, I mean, it was a brilliant comeback. But that is something that you have come to expect of KKR because they have these top order collapses, which is unacceptable up to a certain point because the top order is actually doing nothing. You have a Rinku Singh, you have a Nitish Rana, and you have a Shardul Thakur towards the later end contributing for you in every game. Russell in that middle order, he's really struggling with the bat. Apart from that, I think the top order has done nothing special apart from that one inning from Venkatesh Iyer. Jagdishan today played a sensible knock, but I think he got out at the wrong time because KKR were just stabilizing the ship after that collapse. After the 28
Yeah.
runs over, they had 12 runs of the first over of Mayank Markande, and then he got out at the wrong time. But also Mayank Markande, what a star! And just the his performance just goes on to prove that Sunrisers Hyderabad could have used him from the first game itself. I mean, two
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
6 wickets, and could have picked up a lot more as well. There were so many drop catches from Hyderabad, a few from KKR as well, but Hyderabad were just. I mean, Phillips dropped that sitter. You don't expect Glenn Phillips dropping those sort of catches on any day. So it was
Absolutely.
just certainly those. I mean, that sort of a day, and with 42 needed or 40 needed of 9 deliveries, one could have believed that Rinku Singh could have pulled off another miracle, but it is you can't expect miracles to happen every day. That's not how miracles
Absolutely.
work. But having said that, I
Yeah.
think this bowling attack not the best. I mean, they struggled. They picked up 4 wickets in the last game. Narayan picked up three out of
Yeah.
it out of the four. They picked up 4 wickets in this game. Russell picked up three out of the 4 wickets. Injured himself a bit in the process, but I do believe that he needed to bowl against Sunrisers Hyderabad because he has been the leading wicket taker for KKR in Sunrisers Hyderabad versus KKR encounters.
Yeah,
But
man,
yeah, I
I
think
think that's
overall,
a
I think they'll be happy with scoring 200 in 3 occasions, but
yeah.
a bit more discipline on that bowling front, and I think this team can still do wonders.
Yeah, well, I mean, my question was going to be to you about this very fact, right? I mean, Sandipani did say that Andre Russell was the one to ball, but we did speak about this very initially, right? That Andre Russell in this season might come up as a pure ball, a pure batter, because he's
Yeah.
had that chronic injury issue. You feel it was still worth those wickets to give Andre Russell that one over because this could be a tournament-ending injury because it's been a problem for Andre Russell for quite some time, that knee injury. And his bowling is
Yeah.
really, even today, he was not bowling at full gas. He bowled a brilliant spell, but he was not bowling at full gas. He was not getting the pace
Yeah.
like he usually does. And also, it was very
Yeah.
breakpoint, sweating very much. It just seemed like he was very much tired, even when he was finished bowling at one over, which got them 2 wickets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you totally because, firstly, Sandipani's point is spot on as well because they usually, when you look at matchups, you look at who has had a better record against this team, and that is one of the reasons why they went to Russell. But is it the right way to go? Because he's not bowled a lot of overs. If you look in the last 1 year or so across the leagues wherever he has played, that's also because of his body weight. His body weight cannot sustain. Anything which any exerted pressure on his body whenever he lands, that body weight on his feet is putting a lot of exerted pressure. That is one of the reasons why he's getting hip injuries, he's getting hamstring injuries, he's getting injuries on his calf and his knees. And look, he's a big man. He's definitely close to
Of course.
100 to 110 kgs as a unit. So whenever he's going to land, that's going to put in so much of weight on his knees. And his body at this point is not the most exactly right body for a fast bowler. That's also because he's built himself as a power hitter. He's built himself as that person who wants to battle a lot
Hmm.
as well. So that's from talking from a medical terminology side of things. But talking about which, I still thought the first over was good, second over was good, but the third over was not needed at all. I mean, you could have gone for the Shardul Thakur
Absolutely,
because
especially yeah, especially when he went back after ball in that second over. Shardul Thakur only
yeah,
got 5 deliveries, which came from the third
right,
over. That was supposed to
right.
be Andre Russell's third over.
That's one way to look into things. But in hindsight, if you look, Andrew Russell was the best bowler ultimately. Even though they consider 230, he was the best bowler. He has got the knack of picking up wickets. So as a captain,
Absolutely.
if I was the opposition captain, if I was Nitish Rana, I'd be very tempted to go to Andrew Russell after he picked up the first wicket. I was like, okay, I'll be like, okay, let me give him one more over. If he can give me one more wicket at that stage, it could really open up things. But having said that, I also think Nitish Rana was slightly tactically off today compared to the last three games. He's had some really good games. Especially against Harry Brook, up front, you should have started off with someone
Hmm.
like Sunil Narayan in the first or second over. You saw the innings,
Yeah,
right? He scored 29 balls, 36 runs off the spinners, and rest of the runs is what he scored off the paces. His record against
correct.
paces overall has been very good throughout his career. It's been phenomenal. So maybe today it could have been a Varun Chakravarti, even Suyash, for example, could have possibly started off with a new ball and see how things would have gone. I know Mayank Agarwal was there, but still Mayank Agarwal is not hitting the ball well as well, like what you know of Mayank Agarwal. So today was a right opportunity in the power play, maybe in the first couple of overs to go to Harry Brook, a player who's extremely underconfident, and maybe hold the tank together. What they did against RCB was right as well. They brought in through the third over. That's what they tried to do today. But by then they shielded Harry Brook. Someone like Rahul Tripathi, when he came, tried to shield Harry Brook. Aiden Markham was a better player of spin, tried to shield Harry Brook. Today, what they did was to shield Harry Brook from the spinners and make him not take a lot of risk and make him go after the paces, and came out well.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Harry Brooks' innings, right? Harry Brooks, by the way, has become the first player ever to have 100 in the PSL and at the same time have 100 in the IPL. Today was his 100 in the IPL. It's a huge feat for him. He's someone who is, the next big thing in cricket altogether. You would have to say one of the rarities now to see a batter who's able to perform in all three formats. Probably Shubman Gill is one player that comes to my mind who's probably that of this generation or the next generation who's probably in all three format players. Still, you'd have to say Harry Brooks is doing a slightly better job than Shubman Gill as well when it comes to T20 cricket, or at least in terms of strike rate, you have to say a lot better. But let's talk about his struggle against spin, particularly in the Indian Premier League, right? Against the leg spinners, he's got an average of 11.5, he's got a strike rate of 109. And just switch that against the right arm fast, he's got a strike rate of 254. Again, left arm orthodox spinners, he got a strike rate of 33. He's only faced three deliveries, but leg spin has been his biggest Achilles heels, hasn't it? And today, what do you reckon? You guys had Suyesh, you guys had, I forgot his name, what was his last name? Suyesh
Suyash
Sharma, if
Sharma.
I'm not wrong.
Sharma.
Yeah, Suyesh Sharma. I got getting confused with Suyesh Prabhudeshai from RCB. So Suyesh Sharma, and you guys had someone like Varun Chakravarti. Do you feel that KKR were able to use him well, or you reckon now Harry Brooks just played them out and Aiden Markram was the one who took the attack? Because that's also something that happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he had the luxury of just playing them out, as Abel mentioned, because Aiden Markram was taking on the spinners really well. Aiden Markram is a better player of spin. Aiden Markram had a good
Yeah.
record against KKR in the encounters that he has had in the IPL. So I think it was always going to be obvious that if Harry Brooks manages to survive till the end of the power play, he's going to slow down a bit and rotate the strike and give the strike to Aiden Markram, and that is why it was important for the other batter in that partnership, be it a Rahul Tripathi, be it a Aiden Markram, to just come out and just take the attack on the spinners, so that Harry Brooks had the luxury of just picking out the singles and playing that long inning.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think he really loves playing the pace. This century will do him a world of good in terms of confidence, at least. But not really convinced with having Harry Brooks still in the Indian Premier League, because his struggle against spin is a huge concern. And today, I mean, a lot of players struggled.
Yeah,
KKR batters struggled and got out early, but it was not because of the demands in the pitch, because of the score. It was because of the run rate pressure that they had. They were trying to take
yeah,
the attack on the bowlers. the variation of pace and the bounce, extra bounce got to them. So there was nothing in this pitch. The pitch was as flat as it could get. I mean, it was flatter than the
Yeah,
RCB track as well.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I
it was.
mean today, yeah, today will not be a very good sort of we or pitch to assess how Harry Brook is as a player. But this 100 will do him a lot
Hmm.
of good. But once again, I mean,
Yeah.
he's habituated to playing in such sort of flat tracks in PSL as well. So I think it
Great.
didn't come as a surprise
Yeah.
to him.
I mean, if you look at Harry Brook's career, he has played phenomenally well on flat tracks throughout his career. Even in test matches in Pakistan, the runs he scored was on flat surfaces. In
I
England
think
nowadays,
that's
you
where
get some of the
I
flattest
will point
surfaces.
out even if you look at the 100, right, where Hadibuk really was discovered or where he really has made a mark, right? Even in the 100 against leg spinners, he's still got an average of 13 and he's got a strike rate of 108. So it's not an issue that's only in India. It's
Yeah,
something that has been found out now about Harry Brooks. It's something that's been
yeah,
exposed, I would say, rather. But
yeah,
today, what I did like, though, I love the partnership between Aiden Markram and Harry Brooks. The moment leg spinners came on, Aiden Markram raised his hand. He said, "Lad, I'll handle this," and he did handle it. Abel, I'll come to you, right? This team, the Sunrise Hyderabad, their batting orders look really different since
yeah,
Aiden Markram is coming. I think Teju said the same thing that
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Aiden Markram did shield the
yeah,
spinners
he did.
and
Yeah,
shielded Harry Brook and targeted spinners. Now, what I really like
right.
about Harry Brooks is that he's got that he usually waits on the back foot. He waits for the ball to turn. But the moment you pitch up the ball to him, he's got a very good stride right up. He'll really get underneath the ball. So it
Yeah.
will walk me through how important was Harry Brooks' innings for today's context.
I mean, today's
Not Harry
context,
Brooks, but Aiden
firstly,
Markram. Rather
yeah.
Aiden Markram's innings. Yeah.
Talking about Aiden Markram's innings, as Teju rightly mentioned, it set the tone for a lot of reasons. Because when Rahul Tripathi got out, that could have actually destroyed the entire team because they were two down near to the power play. And
Yeah.
from there on, it was about how they build their innings up, how they can set up a total close to 200. That would have been the right expectation. But the acceleration points of Aiden Markram was very important. When Suyash Sharma came into ball, to accelerate against him, understanding that he's the most inexperienced of the many, and they did not really attack Varun Chakravarti as well. Until when Varun Chakravarti they tried to attack and Aiden Markram finally fell off him. So that is the important point. They shielded, they tried to play out a Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan quite diligently, and that's so important in a partnership like this. 8 overs is crucial, but in 8 overs, if you can get 60 runs, then you can score close to 140 in your last end. That is very important. Or if you at least aim for 70 runs, because uh, on a bad day, on an average day, Varun Chakravarti also can go for plenty, close to 40, close to 35. That's why they knew that Varun Chakravarti will be shielded towards the lateral end as well because they do not have a lot of death ballers. So that's where they made the most out of it to target Suresh Sharma and Aiden Markram, shielding Harry Brook, taking the most number of strike against the spinners. And they made sure in a pitch like this, Harry Brook comes good because this was the best opportunity for Harry Brook to come good. And another pitch
Right.
where I think he'll come good is Bangalore because that's another flatter track in this entire tournament. Because today, even there was a lot of dew which was in play throughout the first innings as well, just from the start of the game. So the spinners also found it very difficult to to have the grip of things. If you look at that RCB match versus Kolkata, you could understand there was a lot more grip in the surface. That's why Karan Sharma, Varun Chakravarti, Sunil Narayan, they all came into play a lot more effectively. Today's pitch, the ball was sliding on a little more better. And that's where you thought Harry Brooks' best opportunity is to score today and score in a better way. And he made the most out of it. You have to say that the way in which he took the attack on from the first over, he really made a mark. Okay, I can do this because he's done that time and time again. But my only concern with Harry Brook, I would never say that he's not an IPL level player. He's definitely good enough to score 100. So I think he can keep going. But my only worry with Harry Brook is going to be how is he going to be shielded every match? Because now, he has got close to
Yeah.
44 dismissals against leg spinners in his career. So that's a lot of dismissals, right? 44 leg spinners against leg spinners in particular. So that in itself is a large chunk of career dismissals
Although I think
against
I'll
a
just
particular
point this
type
out,
of bowler.
Abel.
Let me have an interesting take on how Harry Brook is going to be shielded on like right from the start. Just replace Mayank Agarwal with Abhishek Sharma at the top of the order because Mayank Agarwal, just hear me. I mean, Mayank Agarwal dropping Mayank Agarwal may seem bizarre, but Mayank Agarwal in IPL 2022 had an average of 16, strike rate of 122. So
Yeah,
far in the 3 games, he has an average of 18.67 and a strike rate of
yeah,
112. And overall as well, Mayank Agarwal has played 116 IPL games, an
yeah,
average of 22.48 at a strike rate of 133, which has been on a decline since the last 3 years. So it might come to a point where they might actually drop Mayank Agarwal and give Abhishek Sharma the go ahead at the top, because a left hand right hand combination. First of all, Abhishek Sharma can take the attack on the bowlers right from ball one. Harry Brooks will not feel that excessive pressure that Mayank Agarwal is building from the other end by
Yeah,
just consuming dot balls and trying to get himself in. So
yeah.
I think right now this can be a very interesting take as well. I mean,
But
Mayank
yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's
had
what
I
we've
two
been
mean,
hearing a
horrible
lot of comments
seasons.
as well, on
Yeah.
Mayank to step
that's a
up.
huge.
Some people say
Yeah.
Mayank just had two good seasons. Yeah, I agree to that because Mayank had a phenomenal season 2020 and phenomenal season 2021 as well. I think that's where Mayank Agarwal really came into his own in white ball format, and especially in a tournament like IPL. If you look in 2019, 2018, he was a player with a lot of potential, but never really stepped up. But this season is a season for Mayank to really liberate himself as well because he's playing in a very good team. He's got a lot of players under him. So he should be playing with a lot more freedom. I think one thing which I'm finding on Mayank Agarwal is timing is missing. Mayank Agarwal's biggest strength has been his timing more than anything else. That's gone missing. That's also been seen in his red ball form as well. One of the reasons why he got dropped out of the test team, he's been not able to get that consistent run in the red ball format is also because his timing has gone missing. He's being delayed on the ball. He's getting slightly delayed. I don't know if it's because of the back lift again. It could be. We've had a lengthy discussion on Harry Brooks' backlift as well, how it could possibly hamper it. We did talk about Mayank Agarwal. It was on this channel, but previously on another channel, we did talk about how Mayank Agarwal's technical flaw is one of the major reasons why he's been ousted out of the test team. That heavy backlift on faster surfaces are definitely going to be a major issue for Mayank Agarwal because his bat is coming from an angle and fast ballers can target his pad and actually ball. But in white ball format, he's not really faced it. But this season, I'm still seeing a little bit of it. I'm seeing how he's being slightly more delayed to hit the ball. It's always great to hit the ball late, but hitting the ball delayed is a different factor. There's a thin line between delayed hitting and hitting the ball late. So that's where you need to adjudge it, and that's why I think Mayank Agarwal has been slightly on the, he's fallen slightly short in the pecking order as well. I don't think it's a bad option at all to go for someone like Abhishek Sharma up top, maybe for a couple of games and see how it goes. But still, I think Sunrisers Hyderabad really backing him. Let's see if he goes for like 2 or 3 more games. At the end of 7 games, if Mayank Agarwal hasn't really come good, then that's going to really make them go for someone like Abhishek Sharma because Abhishek Sharma is a phenomenal player. Today also you saw him play that cameo, and I would
And
not
also, I
really.
don't think Abhishek Sharma needs a place in that middle order, because you could have had a Hendrik Klaasen come in at number 5 ahead of Abhishek Sharma. You can have a Abdul Samad come in and finish the job for you while batting as well. So Abhishek Sharma, instead of being a good fit in that middle order, I'm not saying that he's a bad fit in that middle order. He has a terrific record against the spinners. But having said that, I think he is a player who can also take the advantage of the power play as well. Sunrisers Hyderabad, because Rahul Tripathi, he looked very good in that one game, in the last game where they were chasing. They had a very small total to chase against Punjab Kings,
Yeah,
146 odd runs. But apart from that, Rahul Tripathi too hasn't really come to the fore when they are setting the
yeah,
target, or when they are going about it. So
yeah.
Rahul Tripathi not coming good in the other games, and Mayank Agarwal just
Or
building up
else, you know
pressure from
what?
one
Or
end.
else they can do another shift, make Rahul Tripathi to open the batting and bring Abhishek Sharma at three. I think that's going to be a better mix because then you have a left-hander at three, then you have two
Yeah,
right-handers to
just
follow.
add to it. Right? I mean, just talking about Harry Brooks and his issues with leg spin, he's really not been exposed to it as well. I mean, for England, he bats at number 5, right? And by the time he usually comes in, it's already like the 13th or the 14th over. And in on surfaces that you play in England, you really don't have your spinners. At least you'll only have 1 over, maybe 2 overs at max of spin bowling by that time because you're already shielding your spin bowlers in the middle overs. And the batters are really looking to, elongate their batting lineup. So I think that's also the reason why he's really not had to face a lot of spin bowling on T20I front. So
Yeah,
maybe it's not a bad idea, as Sandivani mentioned, maybe just to push things down a little bit.
yeah,
I still think Harry Brook opening the batting is not a bad idea because then you're exposing him to fast bowlers as well. And
right.
probably the only two spinners that he'll face is probably Deekshana and Hasaranga, who do ball in the new ball, or maybe an Ashwin, but again he's not really a leg spinner. So probably those are the only two leg spinners who ball in the power play as well. So maybe that's not
Yeah,
a bad shout to put him up there. But let's talk about another player we obviously impressed with is Abhishek Sharma, 32 of 17. We've been
yeah.
calling the Sunrisers, Sunrisers to send him there. In the middle order, I was a little skeptical. I still am. I still believe he's not being used to his potential. But the lad showed that he's ready to take one for the team, isn't it, Sandipani?
Yeah, it's not the first time that Abhishek Sharma has come in and scored that brilliant cameo towards the later half of the innings, because I think Abhishek Sharma first started to make the rounds, or started an impact in his first game itself for Delhi Capitals. Delhi Devils back then. He scored a 40 odd runs of 17 deliveries, if I'm not wrong. And that just bolstered him to be a regular in that middle order for Delhi. And then when he came to Sunrisers Hyderabad, they identified him to be a opener, and he did brilliantly in the last season as well. So I don't really mind Abhishek Sharma in that in at number three, like Abel mentioned, but I won't have him at number five, number six, because Sunrisers Hyderabad have that firepower of the foreign batters. After Aiden Markram, they have a Heinrich Klaasen, they have the Abdul Samad to come in good form to just go after the bowling towards the later half of the innings. So you can put in a Abhishek Sharma at number three, or open the innings and have Rahul Tripathi at number three, because Rahul
Yeah.
Tripathi, even for the Indian team, he will come at number three itself. So I think he shouldn't be he shouldn't be asked to open the batting right now. He can come in at number three. Abhishek Sharma can go back to opening, and then they can have the duo
So I
of
mean, I'll just
Aiden
add
Markram and
to a
Henrik Lassen.
point.
Yeah,
I'll just say, I'll just give a point. Very interestingly enough, if you look at Abhishek Sharma's records, right, in the IPL, if you just look at it, what he's really done is at number three, he's only played 4 innings, but he's got an average of 52 and a strike rate of 157. Compared to that, in the opening spots, he's got an average around 25. If you look at
Yeah.
both the spots, somewhere in the middle, and he's got a strike rate of 124 to 134. So you would say number three is a very good shout for him, especially given the fact that opening, I still believe at this point in time, as Abel mentioned, give Mayank a little longer rope because you've brought him, you've trusted in him. We know Mayank can actually pull it off on his day. And I still
Yeah.
believe, as Abel mentioned, maybe it's a little bit of technical flaw. Maybe it's also a batter who's really
no, but I mean,
underconfident as
if
well. But
Aiden Markram, I mean, if Mayank Agarwal is opening the batting with Harry Brook, you don't have a place for Abhishek Sharma at 3 or 4, because I won't change a Rahul Tripathi at 3 or a Aiden Markram at 4, because
Yeah.
Rahul Tripathi at 3 will be fighting
I
for
think
that
I
number
think
3
today's
spot for
position
2024
was
T20 World Cup
ideal
as well.
for Abhishek Sharma in longer run. Someone who can come in the middle overs, as Teju rightly mentioned. I see very few players in the world at this point who can counter all these world class spinners at the same time. And this lad has done it to perfection almost every time he's gotten the opportunity. He's still a growing talent, right? He's of the same batch of Shubman Gill, Prithvi Shaw, and all the others what we
mm,
see in the world right now. So he's genuinely a high potential player. Kudos to Punjab to give him that opening spot in the domestic circuit. He's done that very well. He opens the batting with Prabh Simran Singh over there, and he's done a very phenomenal job over there. And he bats really well. He's played in some of the tougher surfaces. He bats in the middle order in Ranji Trophy, which is again a tough spot to play, because your ball is going to turn. So he has had enough of this tougher experience up top and also in the middle, which makes him a little more versatile. So he could be a proper impact sub in your team. He could be the batting option, because at this point I don't think Washington Sundar has really stepped up as a batter. I know that with more opportunities he'll get better, but then unfortunately because of this tactical substitute rule, all these bits and pieces cricketers who could really come out there and exploit themselves with the bat will be totally out of the window. And that's why these
yeah.
players who are much more technically suited with the bat or much more compact with the bat is going to get that opportunity. And that's where I think Washington Sundar's batting
I
ability
think,
will be
yeah. So there was this
batting ability
interesting
will be
thing that I
totally
had
discarded.
This was an interesting thing that I had heard about how when in the MLB, that's the Major League Baseball in America, when they had substitutes allowed for the team, slowly what tended to happen is the all rounders, the ones who can pitch and bat, started to reduce in numbers at the top level, and really people started to follow specialists. So even pitchers who would change initially, who used to be all rounders, they started to genuinely become just pitchers, purely pitchers, because you've got that substitution possibility. So maybe if this becomes much more long term, if it goes beyond IPL, we might genuinely start seeing a lot of all rounders come down, because as a sport becomes more and more professional, the level of each skill required is higher and higher. So it's much more difficult to really specialize in two or more. But let's move on. I think I suppose that's a debate for another day. But let's look at this. Let's look at Kolkata Knight Riders and their bowling. Right. We spoke about how Andre Russell and the whole fiasco there. But probably the biggest worry at this point in time is Umesh Yadav, Lockie Ferguson, and Shardul Thakur. Shardul Thakur has only got 5 balls. All of them combined, I'm not putting Andhra Russell in the same arena, because I genuinely think he shouldn't be bowling. And if everything was going well for KKR, he wouldn't be bowling. But now Umesh Yadav, Lockie Ferguson, and Shardul Thakur, these three are supposed to be your key pacers. Them not taking wickets, how difficult is that getting now? Even
Sandimani is not there. I think he's facing network issues.
yeah,
No, no,
Abel.
no. I'm
The
here.
question was to you.
Okay, I'll come to you. I'll take the question. So, talking about which, I think firstly talking about Umesh Yadav, uh, I still think they're missing a trick by not using him up front with the new ball, because there are two ways to go about Umesh Yadav. It is either to use him with the new ball or use him in the mid overs. If you're not going to do that both, and hopefully hoping that he comes good in the dead, it's not going to happen. Historically, I've seen teams hope that happens and never happen. Last season, what went right for Umesh Yadav was, in Mumbai at least, you get a lot more off the surface if with the new ball, and the new ball tends to swing a little bit more compared to what you see in other surfaces across the world or across the country, at least for that liking. And that's why Umesh Yadav was so much more potent. And Shreyas Iyer really did use Umesh Yadav as that weapon up front to pick up wickets. And only though he picked up 16 wickets, but 16 wickets was basically breaking the back of most of these top teams, picking up two openers, picking up wickets consistently on the power play. But this season, even in the power play, one thing which I've noticed of Umesh Yadav, I was just talking about even in the Test match against Australia, that zip of Umesh Yadav has gone missing. He's not able to swing the ball a lot more. I don't know if it's because of some kind of an injury what he's gone through. That rhythm in his action is also missing slightly. When Umesh Yadav is at his absolute rhythm, you'll see that ball shape pretty well, and that's something which you don't see of Umesh Yadav at this point of stage. It could be because of various other factors, but you would want Umesh Yadav to swing the ball, shape the ball a little bit, and pitch it in the right length. Because right now, with Umesh Yadav, even with a new ball for that liking, he's being extremely full or he's being extremely short. He's not getting that length right. So as long as Umesh Yadav is not going to get the length right, he's not going to even pick up wickets in the power play. So can't really blame it just on the death balling that, oh, you're not giving him overs in the power play. He is balling in the power play. He's going for runs for plenty in the power play. And that's why you are taking him off in the power play to bring spinners, and you have to use his overs at some stage. And even in the middle overs, he has not been so effective. Hence, Kolkata has no other option other than to bring him in the death overs. And today, once again, he went for plenty of runs. But talking about Lockie Ferguson, it's a different concern altogether, because he's been leaking runs on a consistent basis for the last 4 to 5 months. Since his injury return after the T20 World Cup, he came to India. He had to face the wrath of Shubman Gill in almost every game and of the finishers. Come the IPL in the first match, once again against Gujarat Titans, he went for plenty. And now, once again, I think Lockie Ferguson has become very predictable as a bowler. Possibly because he's not using that back of the hand slower ball as much as well. So people are able to line
Yeah.
up against 140 kilometers ball and just whip him away. He's not getting a lot of movement anyways with the new ball. So it's very easy. People are using the pace. And a ground like Eden Gardens, if you're able to clear the 30-yard circle on 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be a boundary, especially in the power play. So that's it. So that's what they're trying to do, and that's why Lockie Ferguson has also become ineffective. But I'd really like to see they try out Tim Southee with a longer run, because Tim Southee, I still think, has got that experience and the guile to pick up wickets within the new ball, because Umesh Yadav is not picking up wickets for you. Now what's happening is the
Yeah, I mean,
openers are going against. Yeah,
And also, Lockie Ferguson is
I
not
will
a
I'll
new
just
ball bowler.
I'll
Lockie
just add
Ferguson
to
has not.
Abel said, right? Sandeep, if I may just.
Yeah.
So last year in the 16 innings in the 39 overs that he bowled in the power play, he got 8 wickets at an economy of 6.79, Umesh Yadav. But now this time around, he's yet to pick up a wicket in the power play, if I'm not wrong. So which means that has been a huge problem for KKR. I think it's also very odd because you're seeing that the new ball has been doing a lot in the past few years. I think since 2019 is when the new ball was changed by Kukabura. You see now in every match, even in places like Chennai, the ball is shaping, which is something we had not seen previously. So for Umesh Yadav to not do it when he was able to do it with the previous generation of balls, it's very surprising.
No,
Yes,
but
Aniket, go
also
ahead.
to just to talk on that point, I think in the 4 games that KKR have played, one has been on Gujarat with a very uncharacteristic surface where there was no swing. One game was on a flat deck at Mohali where there was once again no swing, both for Team Saudi and Umesh Yadav. And 2 games have been on at Eden Gardens where there have been absolutely no swing. So I think he does not have anything to play with
I
at the
don't think
moment.
the first game in Eden Gardens did not have any swing, because they did have David Willie ball well. The pitch had enough for the fast ballers, but just that Umesh Yadav's length is also missing.
No,
I'm just
I
not
mean
talking
Team
about.
Saudi struggled as well. Team Saudi struggled as well. I mean Kohli
Tim
and
Saudi
Duplessis
also
came
has
in.
been strong, but Tim Saudi still got the movement. What really surprises me is the length of Umesh Yadav, more than what his swing is also, right? He's missing that out quite a lot. I don't know if it's a rhythmic issue. He's missing something on the run-up is also what I feel, because he's rushing through the run-up quite quickly, something which you don't really see of Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav has got a very fine and smooth run-up with a very genuinely good positioning in the crease. That's something which you're missing out of Umesh Yadav this season. Could be because of age. Remember, he's 35 now. Every fast bowler has
No,
got
but I
that
think
particular
still
pace.
in certain favorable conditions, if let's go to Wankhede, I think he'll have a better outcome, and it's only a matter of time. If you use him in the power plays, he's going to come in and pick up a wicket. But talking about Lockie Ferguson, I think he's a misfit in this team, because you have a Shardul Thakur who comes in after the power play, who does not bowl too much in the power play as well. So if you have a Lockie Ferguson, and if you use Lockie Ferguson in the power play, you are going to travel, because you saw Umran Malik travel for 28 runs in that 1 over coming in the power play. So I think using
Hmm.
Lockie Ferguson as that new ball bowler will not help KKR unless Tim Saudi is injured. They can either get in a Tim Saudi, but since Tim Saudi has also struggled in flat decks, they can even get in a David Wiese, who can bowl with the new ball as well and come in the death overs as well. So I think David Wiese coming in and will also add firepower to the batting as well. So I think
Yeah.
David Wiese coming in place of this foreign pacer, which is not working in any way. Loki Ferguson is struggling, Tim Saudi is struggling, because we are playing in certain flat tracks. In tracks which has certain some sort of
I
swing,
think
we can
Salimani,
probably get
the
in the
issue
Tim Saudi.
also is that, yeah, I think issue is also that Shardul Thakur in this team, right? I think when he was playing for CSK, he didn't have that pressure. Like Dhoni would probably use him for 2 overs at max. I'm not saying at max. There were days he used to get a lot of overs, but Dhoni had that CSK team had 10 ballers, or at least 7, 8 ballers who could ball 3 overs each. So Shardul Thakur was not often used unless Dhoni really needed him. But now in this KKR team, Shardul Thakur really needs to ball at least 3 overs. You
I think
cannot
I
have a
think
Shardul Thakur
Shardul
ball five
Thakur
balls.
can be used as a new ball bowler for this team. I still think he's being underutilized even now as a bowler. He can swing the ball a
Yeah.
fair bit. He's got a good he's got a good scramble seam which comes in as well. He's got a good cross seam. He's got a good bumper, and he picks up wickets in weird ways, right? He can when you don't feel like he's going to pick up a wicket, he's going to
Yeah,
pick up a
also
wicket.
the thing that KKR, Russell came in the fifth over, picked up 2 wickets, and then you did not have any wickets till the 19th over when Russell came. I don't know. Okay, Varun Chakravarti picked up 1 wicket in between in the 13th or 14th over. When you are playing at the Eden Gardens, it is once again. I'll say, if you even if you are playing at the Eden Gardens, it is not necessary to go with 12 overs of spin. Once you saw Varun Chakravarti was struggling, once you saw Suyash Sharma was not
Today's,
really picking up wickets,
I think
just get
today's
in one
pitch
over from
was
Shardul Thakur in the middle.
yeah, today's pitch was not really suited for spin as well. So that's also where probably three spinners with I mean not
No,
Varun
I mean
Chakravarti
KKR
shouldn't
did not
have
have
left.
the KKR did not have the option of going to anybody else. Otherwise, they would have to ball a Shardul Thakur, which wouldn't have been a bad scenario. I mean, getting a Shardul Thakur, probably he
Yeah,
would
I
have
think Shardul
gotten
Thakur
for 10,
does
15 overs.
a very good job in the middle overs. I'll probably have to go over the stats once, but I still believe he's someone who's a better middle overs enforcer. Yeah, I think I've got it right here. So if any balls from 12 to 16, he's got a strike rate of still, you would say, he's got a strike. I mean, this is from 2022. When he's played for Delhi and Kolkata, when he's balled from 12 to 20, he's done a decent job. He's got a strike rate of 19.5, got an average of 34, and only issue has been his economy, right? That's the only issue why teams are really scared of going to him, because his
Yeah,
economy has been horrendous. It's been 10 in the middle overs, 12 in the death. But with the new ball, like Abel mentioned, he's got an economy of 8.86, which is very good, to be very frank, in the power
yeah.
play.
I
But
mean
he's
that's
not
what
taking
my point is also again, Jaren, that how you
yeah.
use him in particular setups. In Chennai
So
Super
my
Kings
question Abel,
previously,
here is
they had
now. My question here is Abel, how do you use him? Like if you are the captain, if you are the
exactly
bowling
that's what I'm
captain,
coming to, Jaren.
would you
What I'm
want him
trying to
to
say
save
is
runs? Yeah.
no,
When
no.
I'll
I
rephrase my
want
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Would
ahead.
you want him to save runs? Because he's going to go at 8.86 runs in the power play, but he's not going to take any wickets. Or on the other hand, you put him at I mean, from 12 to 20, and you let him take wickets, but he goes for runs. What would your strategy be?
I mean, what is KKR's issue right now? Not picking up wickets in the power play, right? And for me,
Yeah.
he's not balled enough in the power play as well. If you look at his career stats as well, he's balled very few overs in the power play. I know he's not
So,
gone for a
even
lot
he's
of
got
runs, but
21 overs. from what I found.
That's not a
That's
lot of
quite a lot
overs.
of overs.
That's what 10 games. That's it. That's 10 games of power play bowling. That's it. You have to give him a longer rope. And 10 games, what? 10 games in different situations. If he's not going to bowl consistently in power play, he's not going to have a hold of things as well. And I still think Shardul Thakur can be better used in the power play in comparison with the middle overs as well. And not definitely not in the death. He can pick up wickets in the middle over, ball him two in the power play, ball him two in the middle overs. That's what you can get the best out of Shardul Thakur. And if you're not utilizing him, you're hoping that he plays those 60 run knocks, 70 run knocks once in a blue moon. That's not going to happen. He's a highly volatile
Yeah.
cricketer, but it's about how you use him. For Chennai Super Kings, he never got to ball in the power play because there was a Deepak Chahar and Hazelwood ball doing their job consistently well for them. But here,
Yeah.
there is an issue with power play bowling. Maybe they can try it out. I'm not
I
saying
think,
they
I
should,
mean, that's the
but they
reason
can
why
definitely.
Level I went with him going at Delhi and Kolkata, because Delhi and Kolkata have had the issue in the power play. Right? Delhi last season had a similar kind of an issue where they were not able to get a big in power play. But I genuinely think still, either I think as you mentioned, you either have to give all 3 overs to Shardul Thakur in the power play, but then will he get those wickets for you? That's going to be the question. But let's move on. Let's move on to the second innings.
I
We
think
have
KKR can
spent a
simply just
lot.
get in David Wiese for the flat tracks because that will solve most of their problems. Both it will increase their batting strength as well, batting depth
Yeah.
as well, and also I think with the ball,
I
David
still
Wiese
think
is not,
David
not
Wiese should play ahead of Andre Russell. Like I still am of the opinion that
but
David Wiese
that
should
is
play ahead of
something
Andre
KKR
Russell.
that is something which KKR will not do unless
Or
Andy Russell
else,
is
or
injured.
else, I have an interesting thought here. David Wiese can come in instead of Rahmanullah Gurbaz. Make Jagdishan to keep wickets, and then play David Wiese
That's
as
what
your
I.
second all rounder. I think that's still a better way to go. That'll
Yeah,
only help your
but
middle order to be better.
once again, I mean that is once again something that KKR won't do because they have backup openers in the form of Liton Das and Jason Roy as well.
I agree, but you don't need an opener now. He's not going to come in as
But
an opener.
KKR's openers are not coming good for them, right?
I mean,
Rahmanullah Gurbaz right now
Rahmanullah
has
Gurbaz
had two
is
bad
now
games.
coming good, and
No,
at
I mean
this
he
point, you have
started
two
the
options.
season well and he just had this. He got out for a duck in this game, so I think they'll still persist with him for the
I
next two
still
games at
think you
least.
can go in with someone better. I mean, Rahmanullah Gurbaz is an exciting player. I'm not going to lie about that. But I think you can, when you have a Jagdishan up there, you can try him up there, and alongside that, you can strengthen your middle order even more with David Wiese, because David Wiese, Rinku Singh, Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana is a power pack middle order,
So
and that's gonna
I'll
that's
just.
gonna really make a lot of bowling teams to take a note of it.
And also
Yeah.
just to talk
No,
about it, I
absolutely. I
think
think
Rinku Singh has been
Ramanala
absolutely
Gurbaz.
superb,
So the
even
issue with
with today's
Ramanala
market.
Gurbaz is the
Go ahead.
reason why you've sent Ramanala Gurbaz up there is to make sure that he scores at a good strike rate, gives you a good start. But this year so far, what he's done is he's striking at 23.5. I mean, he's average 23.5. He's striking at 125. So which means he's technically scoring about run a ball. And I don't know if that's the kind of start that KKR really need, especially given
No,
the
I mean
fact
he
that
just
they're
had.
batting the top order against the UK. So
I
don't you
mean
reckon
he
now
just
maybe he's
had
trying
this
to.
one innings where he got out for duck. Before this, he had scored 94 runs of the three games, and had an average of 31.33. I think if you just drop him on the basis of one game, it will be a bit harsh on him. But okay, I still understand the fact that if you're dropping Ramanullah Gurbaz tomorrow and getting in a Liton Das or a Jason Roy, because those are your openers, and KKR have lost 3 wickets in the power play in all their 4 games, or at least 3 of their 4 games, which is not something that they can afford. You can't depend on a Rinku Singh, Nitish Rana to finish the job for you all the time. And lower middle order from contributions from Shardul Thakur as well. I mean, if they contribute, it's well and good. But you
I
need
mean,
a
my
Jason
question
Roy.
is, Shivani, if the idea is to throw in a Ramanullah Gurbaz, throw the ballers off their line and length, why not send someone like Jason Roy, who's been available now, who's in stellar form, and who's someone who's proven his medal in India before, right? Ask him to open the innings; he can have a similar impact,
I mean,
if not a better impact.
exactly. That is what my point is. I mean, Rahmanullah Gurbaz before this game had an average of 31.33 at a strike rate of close to 120. So I think he did a decent job at the top. So at that moment, today they gave him the chance. But I think tomorrow in the next game when KKR plays their next game, I think he'll be dropped. They can get in either a Jason Roy. They can also get in Liton Das. I don't know whom they'll get in because both have been in great form right now. But having said
Yeah.
that, I won't want to see a Sunil Narayan at number 4. We were talking about matchups. We were talking about why Russell should be used with the ball against Sunrisers Hyderabad. Then I think the think tank should also know that if there is one team that Narayan really struggles with the bat is Sunrisers Hyderabad. He has had no
Yeah.
success with the bat, coming in as an opener, coming in at number 4, number 3. When you're 25 for 27, 28 for 2, you should have a Nitish Rana coming in, especially after that 45 run knock. You could have had the luxury of having a Narayan in that lower middle order who could have just come in with 60 needed of 24, 25 deliveries, could have just gone after the bowling. That would have allowed probably a Jagdishar and Nitish Rana and probably Rinku Singh to play with a lot more freedom. At one point, KKR were just looking to preserve wickets in that 1 or 2 overs of period of 1 or 2 overs where no boundaries were hit. And in a chase where you are chasing 228 and you had a poor start to the innings, you cannot afford even an over of less than 10 runs. So a period of 2 overs with 5-6 runs in it totally loses the momentum. So I think Narayan was misused, and I think that is one of the more big tactical issues that KKR had today that eventually went to cost them the game.
Fair enough. All right. I think that's pretty much it from this match today. Tomorrow is
And
going to
we are not going to
be.
do a preview of tomorrow's game because we are coming for preview tomorrow. So that is
Oh,
a
that's
separate.
right. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes for us. I mean, it's something that we're trying out. But Shaurya Cricket says that Kieran Pollard is batting in the nets. I think probably for the next CSK match, he might just come in. Like like Sandipani said, the matchups thing. Maybe that's the only reason why he's preparing.
I
So
think he
that
can
he'll chip
still do
off
a
against
better
his
job
matchups.
than maybe better than most of the Indian batters and most of these batters out there in
I mean,
Mumbai.
Kieran Pollard has also been like Shahid Afridi when it comes to retirement. I mean, he just
Yeah,
goes into a
but I don't think
retirement contract.
he can be inducted into the squad at this point. But then, if they were one foreign player less, or if they want to rule out Jofra Archer by saying, "Bro, we don't want to just go back home," then they can possibly get Kylan Pollard into that mix. And he's been batting beautifully. He had a strike rate of 190 in PSL. What are you talking about? And he's batting against Haris Rauf, Shaheen Afridi, and all these guys,
I
and he
mean, in
batted really
PSL,
well.
in
I
PSL,
mean,
right? Yeah.
yeah, it's still a quality
No,
league,
I
right?
still believe that, I mean, this is not to troll anyone, but it was their own post, right? Tim David and Cameron Green did post, if you need 5 from 6 balls, we are the guys. And
College,
I
yeah.
really felt in that match, they kind of got stuck, really took it to the last ball,
Trust
and
me,
no
if
disrespect
that
to
catch would have
IPL.
been taken by Mukesh Kumar, they would have been not
Yeah, yeah.
coming near social media for the
It
next
was
2 months.
a match where both the teams wanted to stay at the bottom. It was just that match.
Yeah,
They didn't want to open their
I
and
mean
Delhi did a better
They
job.
that's a
were
different
looking. They
discussion
were looking to
altogether.
win hearts like KKR.
Yeah, I mean
I mean, you
let's
know
not
how you
talk
say,
about it. I think
right?
that's a different discussion altogether, not for today.
Yeah, yeah. I just have one comment because I have to say it. You know how you say legacy defines you? Mumbai is not used to having zero against the name. Delhi are, and that's the reason why they are still there. Devan Madan says, hate to say this, but KKR will struggle defending totals. Absolutely. I think that's pretty clear. The bowling
Agree,
has
agree.
been really bad. It's been their batting that's
No,
carried
I
them.
mean,
Right? I think
I mean, they won't struggle to defend totals in pitches in dead pitches like Lucknow, where spinners will come good. In probably a MH
yeah,
Chidambaram as well, I think they'll do very well because the spin quality will
absolutely.
outshine over there. But when you talk about pacers, I think with Shardul Thakur, Umesh Yadav, Tim Saudi, Loki Ferguson, they are really lacking in that pace department.
Hmm. No, also I think someone like Shardul is very good on sticky surfaces, so that's also a good addition. Rob Key is back. Our favorite Rob Key. He says Harry Brook will eat up all Indian dibbly dobblies. Yeah, dibbly dobblies have sort of gone out of fashion. I think the last of them was Scott Styris.
Chetan Sakariya,
Now
I
he's
think.
Chetan. That's Abel and his opinions. I just keep that to him. Abel,
But
dibbly
what is
dobblies
going to
is
the biggest, what's going to the
team
biggest,
struggles.
biggest taint on my face if Chetan Sakariya plays tomorrow and picks up wickets against RCB. That's gonna be it.
I mean, if
Oh,
Delhi goes on to
oh.
if RCB manages to win hearts only hearts against Delhi Capitals, it is going to be a different story altogether. Because I would back RCB to absolutely thumb Delhi Capitals with the form that they are in right now.
Absolutely, I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
yeah,
I think
they
that's one of
should,
the
but then
matches you
Chetan
want to
Sakariya
win.
will be the kind of baller in Chinnaswamy who might just pick up wickets. I have nothing against Chetan Sakariya, by the way. I absolutely love him. I think he's still better than a lot of other ballers who are like extremely overrated.
He's a lot better than Mukesh Kumar for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
I'll agree to it to an extent, but the way in
In
which
one
you
ball, yeah.
use Chetan Sakariya against particular teams are going to be so important. The matchups,
I
especially,
genuinely
so
feel though,
important.
guys, this is what I genuinely feel. I feel Delhi Capitals really don't trust Chetan Sakaria to the extent that Rajasthan did.
Even
If you
Rajasthan did
still
not trust him a lot, Jaren. They trusted him for a few games and they dropped him because the thing with ballers like Chetan Sakariya is that when you have a bowler who can be a little more quicker in T20 cricket, I know pace is not a big factor, but still a bowler who can swing a ball at a little more higher pace will always become a little bit more effective. They're hoping that Mukesh Kumar comes good. What he brings is Bengal red ball form into the white ball form. He's not been able to do it because you're not using Mukesh Kumar well. You're using Mukesh Kumar in different parts of the game where he's not used to bowling. Even for Bengal in Sahil Mustaq Ali Trophy, he balls up front with the new ball. He picks up wickets and he stays economical there. He goes at under 8 at times. He goes at 8 and 8 about. But here, you're using him in middle overs where he becomes extremely
So I think that's where we
predictable
spoke
to line
about.
him up against.
We
Yeah, I
spoke
mean,
about
also
it in
talking
the
about
auction as well, right?
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
also
he
talking
was
about
pretty much an
another
excellent
game
buy.
where Kartik Tyagi was not used, right? Kartik
I
Tyagi
mean, I
was
think that's a debate we should not even get into now. I think we are done with that.
so
No, I
Kartik
think in the
Tyagi and
auction
Chetan
table
Sakaria are not getting a game.
We did speak about it that Mukesh Kumar is going to be an excess to this team. If they wanted a Mukesh Kumar, they should have released the Chetan Sakaria, or they should have released one of the new ball bowlers, because now it just seems like their new ball bowling is completely filled up. Another team that really forgot to buy a death bowler, and that's where I don't understand how in the
I mean,
world in Chennai and Delhi ignore Wayne
Delhi
Pandya.
Capitals have done only two things at the auction: bought in new ball bowlers, brought in new top order
Yeah.
batsmen.
I mean, that was a very poor auction
What about
strategy. I mean, there's a lot of questions regarding Delhi Capitals. I think it's way too late to talk about it as well. So I think it's next season what they can do better from here on.
All right, guys.
I
So
think
45
tomorrow we
minutes
can talk
live.
about Delhi Capitals when Chetan Sakaria wins it for Delhi.
Well, that's pretty much it from us for today. Tomorrow we'll be looking forward to an RCB match, and will Abel be happier or upset like the last time? That is going to be the question. So it's a double header, by the way. Tomorrow it's two matches. We're going to be previewing it hopefully by tomorrow. So, or at least if not, we will be coming back and questioning the captains. That's what we do after all. So make sure you guys download Boom 11 app, because there's a lot of exciting prizes happening out there. Even though Nitish Rana came very close to winning, you guys can be much closer if you use the app well and you use the strategies that we tell one day before. So having said that, thank
And
you so much,
Nitish
guys.
Rana was one of the
And
captaincy picks.
he was. So make sure you follow our Instagram page as well, because Sandipani does a
I had
lot of
Harry
work
Brook
there.
today.
Yeah.
I just knew he's gonna come
Well,
good. I just smelled it. It just went well.
Well, as you know, 2020 is, I mean, hindsight is always 2020. But thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Good night, guys.
Bye bye.